Hi Theatre Mania, I'm Lydia Leonard, talking from the Media Day for Wolf Hall Part 1 and 2 at the Winter Garden.
I sat down at the table read in England, oh gosh, when was it? A year and a half ago. It's the first time I've ever sat down and gone, this is a hit. This is a hit, unquestionably. And so to know you're in a hit, going to be playing Henry, this became my focus. Broadway became my focus from the word go. I knew the West End would happen, that wasn't a question for me. It was here, I wanted to come. And we're here, so I can't tell you how excited I am.
I think there's something about Cromwell as an anti-hero that feels very much like a man of our time. That he's enigmatic and he's dubious morally. We don't quite know what he's up to. Sometimes we credit him with worthy motivations based around a kind of sense of classlessness or a desire to improve the lot of ordinary people. And sometimes there's a lust for power. And we can't quite call him on it. And it's fascinating, I think, for audiences, wherever they are, in London or New York, to engage with that sense. It feels very contemporary. It feels much more like House of Cards than it does A Man for All Seasons, if you know what I mean.
He's a man who's able to pick himself up off the floor. Right? He's the self-made man. He's the original self-made man. He's the original working class hero. He's kind of, you could say he's sort of the American dream as well. I mean, he's a guy who just gets up and gets on with his life and betters himself and those around him. It's a great story of how one man rises to the top and what he does once he gets there. It's fascinating.
I think they would be surprised by how much they recognise, how much they say, but this is us, this is now. It's not a dry history lesson. It's full of energy and bounce and movement and wit.
What we try to do with this production is it's quite fast moving. The Wolf Hall television version, which is coming to the US in April, which is wonderful, it's a very different way of doing it. It's slow and kind of growing, and because they've got the time to do that, whereas we don't. And also, if you do slow theatre, it's dull. So we do it very, very fast. So I think people will find that quite exciting and go, "Wow, all these people running around in these costumes," and and it's like a thriller.
I think it's kind of like a sort of House of Cards meets The Sopranos. It's sort of this real mix of sex and politics and intrigue, and it's dangerous. I hope they get the kind of. It's not a sort of polite thing about. It's got nothing to do with. I don't think it's got anything to do with monarchy in terms of the modern sense of the word. It's more like it's a sort of mafia, and it's terrifying, I think.
It's like when you binge on like a 6-part series in one day, and you're like, oh, I just need to watch the first series of Breaking Bad or whatever. It's like, oh my god, that's what this is like. It's like seeing the whole story in one go. You know all those, it's fresh in your mind, the first one, so all the little nuances kind of reflecting back to the first one. You're like, oh yeah, and you totally get all of them. But I mean, they totally stand on their own as well. But there is something very special about seeing both of them in one day.